West Indies Cricket, Caribbean Cricket Podcast. West Indies Cricket, Caribbean Cricket Podcast.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the Caribbean Cricket Podcast. I'm on half the Caribbean Cricket Podcast, Machel St. Patrick Hewitt, and with me as ever is my partner in crime, Santokie Nagilendran. Santokie, how you doing?
Yeah, all good, Mash. And, day one of the second test at Wellington, West Indies, New Zealand, West Indies, coming back from that confidence-boosting rearguard action from Kemar Roach and Justin Graves only a few days ago in the first test. And, Mash, we've already been taken there on day one. How much manifesting are we going to have to do on the second test? West Indies bowled out for 205, put into bat. They succumbed in 75 overs. New Zealand finished at close of play 24 without the loss of a wicket. Mash, firstly, let's just get your overall thoughts about the performance yesterday.
I mean, it was a green pitch, so let's try get the mitigating factors out of the way first. It was a green pitch. New Zealand won the toss, opted to bowl. New Zealand know their own conditions, right? And they certainly know it better than us. Both teams are battling significant injury woes. And I think from the minute that New Zealand opted to bowl first on that wicket, you kind of have to know that they're targeting probably sub 250. And like I say, given the amount of green tinge on that wicket, I wouldn't say the wicket did a lot in the early morning. There were a few balls that beat the outside edge, a couple that dropped short, obviously 2 wickets in the first session, but it didn't look as threatening. But then I do remember them saying on comms in that first session that as the game goes on, or as the session goes on, or as the first day goes on, it might become increasingly difficult to bat on the wicket. And that came to pass, but it must be remembered that at one point in this first innings, West Indies were 153 for 3. Then at the end of the second session, they were 175 for 4. So if you go from 153 for 3 and 175 for 4 to 205 all out, even with the caveat that New Zealand won the toss, even with the caveat that New Zealand bowled first for a reason, even with the caveat that New Zealand know the conditions better than West Indies, 205 feels a bit below par. Yeah. But in the context of it being West Indies, this is going to sound like I'm clutching at straws here, but I actually mean this as a realistic point. This is the 4th innings in a row where West Indies have batted more than 70 overs. Now, of course, people can say, hold on, Mash, why are we celebrating batting more than 70 overs when in one of those innings they only scored 160 something, and in the next innings they've only scored 205? But I think I'm making that point to say that there clearly seems to be, to me, there looks like there is a clear intention to at least try and bat properly or bat time and try and make the opposition at least work to bowl them out. Or do you think I'm clutching at straws there?
No, I think it was, like you said, it was below par. I think 250 plus would have given West Indies a bit more confidence, especially since that fast start that King and Campbell sort of got off to 66 for nothing after 16 overs. You would have liked to have seen the rest of the team build on that. But Mash, let's get into the first talking point then. So West Indies, I mean, New Zealand changed half the team, right, because of injuries. So in and out, trying to work out what bowlers they had left available. West Indies made 3 changes. So 2 of them were expected. I think Kavem Helge came in for Alec Afanase, and Anderson Phillip came in for Johan Lane. Johan Lane struggled in the first test. That's not really a knock on Johan Lane. He's a young man kind of finding his way with the ball. New Zealand's a tough place to come if you're not used to the conditions. So that was expected. And Tagenarine Chanderpaul picked up a side strain in training the day before the second test. And so Brandon King came in to open. So it's Brandon King, John Campbell, Jamaica up. Jamaica Talawas out here. Jamaica Scorpions out here. Darren Sammy, has always kind of, in the last few months, he's kind of hinted that, Brandon King might come in to open. And that plan sort of came to fruition. And Mash, not going to lie, it looked like a good partnership. They played fluently. King particularly had an unlucky dismissal, umpire's call for the LBW. Campbell played in sort of a Campbell way, but in a West Indian context, it was a good opening partnership to get that 66. They rotated well, they worked well together, having come up through the regional setup together. So an interesting dynamic to see Brandon King open. But as a first go as an opener, I don't think it was a bad audition from King.
Yeah, King's innings was a net positive, and at the end of the day, West Indies put on 66 for the first wicket, right? Somebody in the chat probably has the stats and can present them for us, and we can put it on the screen. But if I'm not mistaken, that was West Indies' first 50-run plus opening wicket partnership in Tests in the last 20 something innings. Somebody in the chat can put the stat below. So I think whatever quibbles people might have about how Campbell got out, how King got out, whatever, beggars can't be choosers. And at the end of the day, it was a 50-run plus opening wicket partnership, and I'm taking it. We aren't in any position, in as far as I'm concerned, to be cussing out guys who put on 66 for the first wicket, because the norm is usually 10 for the first wicket. So it's a net positive for me as King, for King opening. I'm not overly enamored with it, because obviously that now means that King is going to be positioned as an opener, I'm assuming, and he'll have far more difficult task ahead of him if that's where he's now going to bat, if he plays in Test cricket. But the one thing I did love is they got on with it. Like,
yeah, they got on with it.
If you're gonna open for the West Indies, you can juk the ball like Shandapal and eventually maybe get to a 50, and obviously Craig Brathwaite as well. But I just like the fact they showed some intent. It's not always going to work like that, but at least something was happening. At least we weren't sitting around waiting to nick off.
Real Jamaican heritage, you know. They said, listen, we're here for a good time, not a long time out here. They were just playing shots out here. But Mash, it's interesting because this leads to a little debate now, because let's say Chandapal's fit for the third test. What happens? Does King go down the order? Does Chandapal miss out completely? Do they drop Campbell? Because bear in mind, Chandapal hit a half century in the last test. So it's not as if, like, on form, you can drop him. So if he is fit for the third test, you'd assume if he picked up a side strain, there's a good chance he's back for the third test, right? So that will create a little dilemma. Or I'm wondering whether King sort of start here. A lot will depend on what he does in the second innings. Could maybe force Sammy to be like, hold on, we can play him at 3 or 4, moving further down the order.
I was going to say the bigger issue, I think the longer knock-on effect of it is clearly West Indies are looking for a Test match number 3. Nobody in the Caribbean can bat 3 in Test cricket. Everybody in the Caribbean is shook of number 3. There is literally not a... Well, the only person you could possibly put at number 3 is if Craig Brathwaite gets a recall, because obviously he's used to opening. And if they ever bring Craig back, which I assume is going to happen at some point, then who's to say you don't put Craig Brathwaite at number 3? But that notwithstanding, everyone is shook at the number 3 position. Afanase is shook. Hodge is shook. King probably don't want to bat there. Hope won't want to bat there. Nobody wants to bat 3. The batting 3 and for the West Indies is basically the same as opening anyway. So if King becomes a lock in the side, I think he's the most likely to get forced to bat there anyway.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like a poison chalice at the moment. And Hodge, the thing with Hodge is, right, he hasn't played a lot of cricket. I'm just looking at his profile. His last game that he played was the West Indies A against South Africa in June. So he's basically gone 6 months without any form of cricket. Obviously, he'd been doing training and practicing in Dominica. Impressed Sammy. And just a little stat there. First 50-run opening partnership in 14 innings since the miracle at Multan. However, first 60-run opening partnerships in 20... since the Birmingham test. Bro, I swear that test was about 15 years ago, Bob.
How long ago that was?
I was a youth man, Bob, when I went to that test.
60, you know, 60.
Wait, hold on.
And the
So
thing is, that stat makes it look like 60 is 100. You know,
yeah.
we're out here celebrating our first 60-run opening partnership in 26 innings. Cuz
so
we're really in the
that must have been
trenches out
Louis
here.
and that must have been Louis and
Brathwaite. Yeah.
Crazy, yeah. So Hodge, the thing is, what can you really expect from Hodge to come in without any real match preparation? Because he did he play? Yeah, he played the warm-up match, got a 55, I think, in the warm-up match. But really and truly, it was he looked all out of sorts for the 8 balls he faced. And as you said, Afanase doesn't seem to be a solution. Hodge doesn't. So could it just be a case of, trying to fit King in because we know King's a quality batter and he specializes further down the order. But Mash, let's get into Shai Hope because Shai Hope was the top scorer in that innings. Again, just sort of carrying on that fluency. But are we slowly? I know it's only a 48 in this context, but are we slowly going towards what happens in ODI cricket, where our innings is essentially dependent on Shai Hope putting up numbers to kind of build towards something big? Because once Shai Hope went, we just collapsed. Like there was nothing else to build on. Sort of there, disappointing. We'll get into the rest of the innings for later on, but just sort of what are your thoughts on sort of Shai Hope's role in the team? And sort of we talked last time about how is he going to be a captain in the future? Is he going to go back to wicketkeeping? And it just seems like literally all our hope, no pun intended, is on Shai Hope at the moment with the Test side.
So I saw some stat. I don't know if it was last night or this morning. I saw a stat which says that Shai Hope has scored the most runs in 2025 if you add up all international formats. That he's the leading run scorer in international cricket across all formats. I don't know if that's true or not, but I certainly saw that pop up on my phone. And if it is true, it really puts in perspective where Shai Hope is at right now in terms of the world game and the standing that he is held in. I think the proof is in the pudding, right? A team loses, so you lose Shai Hope and you go 153 for 4, and you're all out for 50 runs after Shai Hope goes. I think the proof is in the pudding right now. I guess Shai seems to have unlocked something vis-a-vis Test cricket. So what we're saying right now. So he's gone 100 plus at Delhi. What did he get in the first innings in the first Test? Did he get 40 something? He must have done.
Yeah, I think it was
40 something. So he's gone 100 something in Delhi, 40 something and 140 in the first Test in New Zealand, and then he's followed up with 48 again. Like he's clearly in prime.
No, he got 56.
Form.
He got 56.
There you go. So that means in his last 4 Test match innings, he's got 200s, 150, and 140. Oh, this is unprecedented times for a West Indian batter. We may never see the likes of this again, Santokie.
So in 2025 in Tests, he's averaging 40 now, which kind of shows you that kind of says everything, right? So he must have the best Test match average of any West Indian batter in 2025. Yeah, probably by about 20 at the moment, I would imagine. But Mash, you know what? One thing to take, there was a collapse, but I can kind of see the grind ball philosophy, because if you look at the innings, right? I know Chase got clean bowled, stumps licked out here, but he done 29 of 69 balls. Justin Graves lasted 52 balls with 13, and then Anderson Phillip, was trying to carry on the torch of Kim Roach, batted 50 balls with 5 runs. So it seems like the tactic at the moment is let's just block as many balls and just pray more bowlers get injured, because obviously Blair Tickner was moving like Jeff Hardy on the boundary rope. Man did a swanton bomb.
I've missed... Wait. I haven't seen it. Man did a swanton, yeah?
No, he dived on the boundary and he dislocated his shoulder. But it didn't make.
What are you saying? He did a top rope elbow drop.
Man said you. But it don't make any sense, because he's the frontline bowler, right? And you know that the team's down bad. Like, you don't be diving like that around on the boundary. But unfortunate for Blair Tickner, but that's basically dislocate shoulder. You're out of the Test, right? Maybe out of the series. So that again leads to more questions, because now they've got no one. Because I read a mad stat. The highest wicket takers in the team are Glenn Phillips and Kane Williamson at the moment, which is mad.
New Zealand's team,
because the Duffy, Zachary Folks, and the new guy Ray, they're all on.
Wait, are we saying that Tickner's out of the Test match?
Yeah, he dislocated his shoulder.
So that's him done, right? Okay. Yeah. So what are we saying? Let me fast forward. Can West Indies win this Test match?
You know what? So the thing is, right? I was thinking that earlier. The only thing is, because we're batting first, it's going to be harder, right? Because New Zealand batters are quality. So if they put up 350 in this Test, us batting third means we're gonna have to grind. It's harder to grind it out when it's not the 4th innings, because you kind of the finish line is not close. Whereas last time, Kim Roach and Justin Graves knew, all right, cool, we've got this amount of overs to go. So it's going to be harder. But I think we can do it because there's nothing in this bowling attack, New Zealand bowling attack. They're showing glimpses, but it's not potent at all. Tickner was the main guy, right? So if he's out, it's a weakened bowling attack. And remember, Duffy and Folkes are going to be tired from the first test. The other guy Ray's on debut, so it's problematic for New Zealand, but it's an advantage to West Indies.
So New Zealand, obviously, overnight, when they came out to bat, they got to 24 without loss stumps. How many can we afford to let them get to feel that we're still in the game? Because if New Zealand make 350, Santokie, we ain't winning this test match.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
So how many are you willing to let them get to say game on?
300.
Right. Okay. So you're saying I was going to say 280 is the maximum we can allow them to go to and still think that we can pull off a victory of any sort.
Yeah, I was just Googling it. Yeah, Tickner's got a shoulder dislocation, diving on a fine leg on the boundary, but that's mad in and of itself. So I haven't seen the actual clip, but yeah, he's out. So I think if New Zealand get anything over 300, they're still favourites to win. Yeah. But it adds a massive advantage to West Indies. Obviously, it's unfortunate. 250 uncomfortable out here. But Mash, one thing that did make me uncomfortable in the innings was all right, New Zealand's a green top pitcher. Why the hell was Tevin Imlach getting clean bowled by Glenn Phillips as if he was batting in Chennai against Ravichandran Ashwin? And we bought him like the play spin. Like, bro, there's no actual way Glenn Phillips should be getting a day one wicket turning the ball. Like, it didn't make any sense. Bamboozling, man. And we bought him like him because he can play spin well. That was the whole reason why he played in Multan and all this kind, and in India. So we got the spin specialist getting clean bowled by Glenn Phillips on day one in New Zealand. Like, not even a full-time spinner.
On a green seaming wicket. On a green. Do you know what? Until you said it, I hadn't even, like, when I was watching the dismissals back, I hadn't even deeped in my head, wait a minute, a wicket just fell to spin. Because I was just watching the procession of wickets. It didn't even occur to me that man got done by a straight one.
No, I saw it. I saw it and I checked my YouTube. I thought I was watching the Multan highlights again, but I said, no way. I said, no way. And if you look at Glenn Phillips' reaction, yeah, man just put two fingers to the sky like Messi at the World Cup, fam. Man was like, can't believe it, mom. Because what it was
no, because if you go back and watch Phillips' celebration, because now everything's making sense to me. Because if you go back and watch the dismissal, after Phillips does the hands to the sky, he turns to everyone and just almost like embarrassingly hugs everyone as if to say, "Rah, rah, just go with it."
It was basically one of them ones where they gave him the ball and were like, you know what, like just hold it up at one end, right? Because the fast bowlers need a rest. And then Imlach faced it, bruv, like it was by Murali, fam, came forward, just got bowled, bruv. It didn't make any sense. Like that's got to be the end of Imlach, you know, because you can't be, the optics of that are mad. So that was one thing. The other funny thing I thought was they appealed for their life against Kimar Roach, you know, and then they have done the appeal because it was given out. Bro, when it got given out, these men cheered as if they got Brian Lara out, you know.
And this is the thing is, right, all jokes aside, this is actually a bit of a down bad test series because who did like
man said, the comment said Imlach played imaginary term, fam. That's what it was, fam.
Let me mind.
Man said he saw Duppy, fam. Oh, it's actually mad, but I had to watch it twice. Like, what was he playing at? It didn't make any sense, man. Oh my! No, this is actually a horrendous test, you know. Like, the bowler for New Zealand obviously has got so many injuries; it's down bad. And then New Zealand batting lineup hasn't clicked so far. But my only concern is they got Conway, Ratchin, Ravindra, that kind of thing. They'll all come together at one point, right? So that's the thing. They'll come together. But in comparison to sort of the hype that Ashes is getting and sort of the spotlight on Ashes, this is basically the down bad test series at the moment.
It is, isn't it? There's so many injuries. And the thing is though, I do just want to state a cautionary tale here, because there's been a lot of people going, but New Zealand's bowling attack is depleted. We have to remember, so's West Indies. Like, let's not try and pretend that West Indies are at full strength. If this was West Indies with both Josephs involved, then yeah, I'm willing to play New Zealand are depleted, but West Indies are depleted. So this is, and maybe actually the series speaks to what is increasingly becoming a problem in world cricket, which is the calendar's too packed, and men are just breaking down because it's T20 match fixing league, then international cricket, then money laundering league, then international cricket, then betting league, then instant. Like, there's no break in the calendar. So you get to December for a 3-match test series and everyone is brucked down and can't get through the cricket. So it's probably actually raising some cautionary tales about where cricket is going, and therefore the knock-on effect on the quality of the cricket you can see, because the best players aren't fit enough to play because they're playing too much cricket. So it's all a bit of a negative.
I think that's a really good point. And also another mad point I read. This is I saw it on Twitter. This is the first 3-test series between non-big 3 nations, so not involving Australia, India, or England, since like 2017 or something like that, which is mad in and of itself.
Nuts. It's actually crazy. Nuts,
crazy.
Really,
so
really mad.
From a West Indies point of view, this is great because it allows us to build right on what's happened. Normally, like what we saw in India and in Pakistan, we peak in the final test and then we have to fly back, right? So this time we kind of got 3 tests. Imlak is just in his 5th test. Let him live. No one noticed an experienced captain, Roston Chase, now 17 innings without a test century. Now, I mean, Roston Chase is under pressure. We talked about it on our review show. Roston Chase is definitely under pressure. The captaincy is sort of giving him the green light to stay in the team for now. However, I think questions will be asked about his role in this after the series if he doesn't perform. But I just think if we're bringing Imlak in as a specialist, and like I said, man was playing imaginary turn against Glenn Phillips. And don't forget, now in cricket, the wicketkeeper is expected to put up runs. Like it's a given. You as a wicketkeeper, you have to put up runs. So for Imlak to do that, I don't care if that was his debut, his 50th test, his 5th test. It was the manner in which he got out showed me that he's a player that's not confident in his own specialist ability to play spin at the moment.
Yeah, and do you know what? I'm just trying to pull up some stats because I want to make sure that I don't just talk nonsense. Okay, so in fairness, Glenn Phillips does have 31 test match wickets at 31 apiece, but I think for me, it's just the context of it's day one on a pitch.
Yeah, how many? It'll take a while to go into their stats, but I'm pretty sure that would probably be the first time he's got a wicket in New Zealand on day one. Glenn Phillips, like most of his wickets would have been on a subcontinent or day 4 or 5 in New Zealand. Like it's very rare you'd get a wicket with spin on day one, unless it was one where a tailender was swinging at it. But for him to actually clean bowl, man, with spin, like is mad on day one in New Zealand.
Just a few questions, then we'll wrap this one up.
Yeah.
So Chatil says, Kavem Hodge isn't a number 3. Dropping a young guy like Athanase after 1 test in the series is concerning. First and foremost, let me just address something before we jump into that answer. I just want to just look at something. So Alec Athanase is 27. What counts as young nowadays? Because Alec is 27. And he has now played 16 test matches. I'm not saying that means he's a super experienced guy, but after 16 test matches, Alec Athanase's test match average is 24. And actually, Santokie, maybe this is a discussion that you and I need to have in a different episode about, because standards in West Indies cricket are so low. Like even in the Caribbean Cricket Podcast Discord group, every week there's an argument or discussion about the same thing. Every single week there is a discussion about should this man play, should that man play. And I think yesterday I was saying in the group, we've got to stop having discussions about men who only average 25 and 24. Like, where do you stand on this, Santokie? Because Kavem Hodge played yesterday, he only averages 25, obviously 8-ball duck. And we're just arguing over a bunch of guys. None of them actually have anything going on. So for me, there's no validity in any argument where you say, but we should invest in this guy or you shouldn't drop that guy. Because where is the line, Santokie, where you say, no, but you actually have to perform? It can't just be Oh, but promise. When does performance come in and accountability?
Yeah, well, I think it was telling in the last India test Afanase played, Bish on commentary said Afanase, when he made his debut, was talked about the future of West Indies cricket. But Bish was like, that future's now, like this is his peak time, right? He should be performing. He's 27 years old. So as you said, Mash, there's not. We can talk about Hodge. A few people in the comments have said Amir Jangu, and we got Afanase. But what really can any of these players make a substantial change or show any promise at number 3? It doesn't. I know Amir Jangu's only played one test, but he averages 33, I think, in first-class cricket at a regional level. So for me, there's big questions about sort of what are we arguing about? What are we making a change? I was surprised to see Hodge get called up to this squad just because he hasn't been playing any cricket. He obviously passed some sort of eye test or showed Sammy something about him, but I was surprised to see Hodge come in. But now it leads to the question, you've got Afanase. You dropped Afanase for scoring, 4 and 5 in the first test. Let's say Hodge goes out. He went out for a duck. Let's say he goes out for under 5 in the second test. Do you drop Hodge for the third test? Like, how's it working at the moment? What are we doing at the moment? Or do you place more faith in Hodge, where Hodge is older? Surely you should be placing more faith in Afanase. But it's much ado about nothing, really, Mash. There's not really any.
That line you just said is my line. It's much ado about nothing. The days of me putting stocks in anyone and gambling that they're going to come good. This right now, right now in West Indies cricket, if you're putting faith in any West Indian batter to come good who isn't called Shai Hope, is no different to playing the roulette wheel at casino. Yeah. There's literally no different. You can't tell me anything, right? Right now, we can only say, yeah, that guy Shai Hope, there's a chance he can come good. I can bet on Shai Hope and have a good chance that I might make my money back. But everybody else, you're just throwing down a random number on the roulette wheel and praying that something's going to happen. So when I see people doing the back and forth about, yeah, but what about this guy and what about that guy? I actually look at people and go, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Yeah. Or it's all guesswork. Everything's guesswork.
Everything's guesswork. Like, even if you take out Jangu, and Afanase, what would be the next name to come up? Casey Carter, who averages 16 in Test cricket. I think he's played 7 tests. There's no one really that can kind of give you confidence. And the thing is, Mash, normally with sides, right, when you're panic station, we've seen it in England, right, with the Test side, you call up man from the white ball side as an emergency. All right, you call these men are doing another format. We've hit that button with Hope and King. There's no one left now. Yeah. Everyone in our ODI side has played Test.
There's literally no one left. Literally no one left. That's why I went to the net, because I might as well. We've basically reached a stage of West Indies batting where everybody can submit their own video. Like, like on Britain's Got Talent. You can just... I submitted my video on Instagram because that's where we're at. Everyone's just got to hope that if you submit your video on Instagram, Sammy and them man might see you and give you a chance, because I've got as good a chance as anybody else right now. Have you seen OJ Shields' dismissal for the final wicket?
Yeah.
Right. Watch it back and you tell me, Santokie, when you watch it back, OJ's batting technique is the exact same as mine. Literally the exact same as mine. And I want to watch it now. Find it now if you can, and tell me if you see any difference between that and what you saw me put up in the net. Tell me. I'm going to pause. I want you to watch it. Please tell me if you saw any difference between the two.
I'm going to just go there. Mash, while I'm finding this clip, a few people in the comments said, "What's happened to Kurt McKenzie, Mash? What's going on with McKenzie?"
I guess, he's back with Jamaica Scorpions. He's making a few runs here and there. You and I saw Kurt McKenzie in England. He was down rotten. But then it was a classic example with Kurt McKenzie where we've thrown in a Ute man and just said, go on, have a try. Go, yeah, you seen it.
But why was he holding the bat like that? The thing is, I understand you holding the bat like that, yeah? But
yeah, exactly. I'm useless. When I saw it, Santokie, I replayed it immediately and said, hold on a minute. Hold on. Man were cussing me when I put my video up saying I don't know what I'm doing, and honest to God, that's exactly how I was playing the cricket.
You know what that reminded me of? You know when you watch like a celebrity and they want them to try cricket for the first time and they give them the bat and they ball like, because man held the bat like he'd never played cricket before. And the thing is, he walked off angry, like his face was vexed as if like it was as if he was going to play a better shot or something.
Listen, anyone can get a play at this point in time. Anyone can get a play. But listen, all jokes aside, hope isn't lost. Hope isn't lost at all. It's we made 205. It looks a bit undercooked. It looks a bit under par, but West Indies do have a fit bowling lineup in terms of no one's broke down just yet. So there's every chance, Santokie, that we might be able to get some headway into New Zealand today. And then I guess you and I will convene again at the end of day 2, review it and see where we're at. But what I would say is this, Santokie. West Indies may never get a better opportunity to win a test match in New Zealand. Not even necessarily this test. I mean, just in general, they may never get a better opportunity than this tour because of just how many different things are going on for New Zealand at this point in time. So you never know. You never know, Santokie. We could be reflecting on this tour come the end of it and going, oh my God, we got a draw in New Zealand. You never know. Yeah,
exactly. I think we've hit New Zealand at a time where they're in a transition period. We got 3 tests and that sort of things are aligned at the moment for us to have the best possible chance of getting a draw. And who knows, Mash, the next time we play in 4 or 5 years, what our test cricket will look like or how many tests we'll even play in New Zealand. So a lot to play for. As ever, we'll carry on the day 2 review probably this time tomorrow. Hopefully to share some more good news of West Indies performance. You know, we'll take the ball. It's what time is it? 10 p.m. It starts UK time, so it'll be 6 p.m. in the Caribbean. So we'll all be watching this evening tonight and hoping, you know, we can get some early wickets. Kimar Roach, Jaden Seals, etc., etc. That's been it from the Caribbean Cricket Podcast live day review. You know, like, comment, share, subscribe. You know, I think we've only got how many likes, Mash? We got like 19, 20?
I don't even know. I can't even see. But before you go, people, press like. Make sure you press like at the very least. If you want to become a patron, though, head to www.patreon.com/Carib Cricket or buy us a coffee. The link's in the descriptor below. Read all the descriptors below. Head to our website, CaribbeanCricketPodcast.com. You'll see all the links to everywhere you can go. But yeah, like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you all very, very soon.
West Indies Cricket, Caribbean Cricket Podcast.